in marriage. And this is a topic that is going through all over the social media among the married people. And before we dive in, uh, with me here, I'm joined by one Ashley. Say something.
Hi, hope you're all good. And we're grateful that you're here with us for today's session. It's the first of very many, and we hope you have a great time. So, about this marriage thing, how do you view marriage? Before we dive into the whole scenario of how millennials and how messed up marriage is, tell me your views about marriage.
I think marriage is a very good thing, and marriage has been there before, and marriage is here to stay. That's a fact. Because there are so many people have gone through the marriage, they have had successful marriages, and there are those who have gone through. Others are calling it shit. I don't know the reason. What maybe they went through some maybe toxicated one and whatnot and whatnot.
Okay, so you've said that you'd want to get married, right? But don't you think that the way you've phrased it, how the millennials and whatever is happening with the marriage systems right now, don't you think it's something that is actually deterring the youth of right now? Because personally, I think it's a very hard place to be in. Okay, I view marriage as something that's great, but to some extent, there's that how you take things as lessons, how you actually appreciate and you learn from the things that are actually happening on the ground. So, what's your take on that?
Okay, my take about marriage today, because marriage is something you learn today, you learn tomorrow, and the previous days and the coming days also you still learn, you gain some experiences. And before, as a man or as a woman or as any human being wants to get into marriage, there are things you've learned before, especially your parents. There are ways your parents have been operating in marriage. There are things they have been doing in marriage. Maybe in a way to salvage, maybe in a way to as a way of gaining experience and whatnot and whatnot. Those are the things that one should consider, especially if you want to get married in this world we are living in today. And before you consider that, also you must seek the normal traditional that traditional thing. They call it a blessing.
Oh,
You,
so,
are-
so you want us to
you-
dive into tradition?
no, no, I'm not.
Are
I'm
you
not.
trying to say that my work is to stay at home and cook for you a big portion of ugali? Or what are you trying to
No,
imply?
I've not said so because things are dynamic. Things are changing. The world is
Uh-huh.
changing. The world that we had yesterday is not the world we're having today.
Then why bring in the aspect of tradition? What
No,
do you mean by tradition? Is it the family system of father, mother, kids? Or is it the aspect of how you should be perseverant? But you need to remember, you've said that we're in a changing world where the dynamics are changing, and we're a generation that is actually more attuned to our emotional selves and preservation of self. So, what is the meaning of the traditional aspect that you're trying to bring out in this
to
conversation right
respond
now?
okay, to respond to your query, leave alone the traditional thing. when i
But you've brought it
touched
up.
when I touched the traditional thing on that perspective, what I meant was the blessings. You have the blessing, and having a blessing, it comes with a bit of a bit of advice, because that person or that human being that is giving you advice has gone through one or two things. So
Okay,
he or she might not want his own to go through what he or she went through.
I
That's the
have a
thing.
question. So, what exactly is the meaning of blessing?
Blessing.
Yes.
Blessing is this is something. This is an event that someone is crowned and given a go ahead in marriage. That one is done by the parents and some older people, some older guys
Now, the elders of
in a family.
community.
Yep.
Oh, so in as much as we argue out that the aspect of blessing, don't you think that to some extent we feel like we're prisoner to those systems? Because, mind you, we're here for the blessings, right? Which is something really great. But at the end of the day, are you going to stay there knowing that you're not being met as a human being? Because despite marriage being marriage, it comes down to individuality and the aspect of you being able to coexist with someone else. Because, don't mind me, this is my own personal opinion.
I'm listening.
Yeah, we're totally different people. Like, you and I cannot have the same character. We cannot have the same built. We can't have the same
Thoughts.
argument on things, thoughts, everything. We're totally different people, sorry. And that is where individuality comes in. But if at all we cannot embrace individuality and have respect for me, I have respect for you, you have respect for me. Can it actually work in the aspect of marriage? So, if at all we're considering the aspect of just blessings, as you've termed it to be, where does that leave you as an individual? And I think that is actually what kills marriages with the millennials. You were talking about finances, how the men nowadays feel, okay, the men then feel the need to be assisted by the women they have, right? So it's not a bad thing, but at the end of the day, it's actually good. I advocate for that because that is partnership. But we need to ask ourselves, is there really individuality in that dynamic of marriage? Are you being respected as an individual, as a person? Because with that knowledge, I think that is actually what demotivates most of the youth right now. Because me personally, hey, look at me. Imagine ati mimi ni kae hapa and then I'm starting to nisumbuane na wewe. Siwezi sumbuana na
You
wewe.
know, this thing for it to be called marriage, there
Uh-huh.
must be an agreement before.
Yeah.
And before the agreement, there are people you consult. Because
Let me ask you a question.
when time comes,
They're on consultancy. So if you find a good lady somewhere uko nje, umepatana na demu mzuri, yeye ni peng. She meets all your check boxes. Tick, tick,
all the
tick.
checkboxes are okay.
Zote ziko sawa.
Zote.
Zote na ni mali.
Yeah.
In your eyes ni mali. You know, here we talk about beauty lies in the eyes of the
Eyes of the-
beholder.
exactly.
Exactly. So you being the beholder, you see peng uko nje.
Kitu kali.
Kitu kali, mali safi na utaki kuachilia. But since the people uko watu wa kwenyu uko, where you from? Is it Western?
From Lufwindri.
Yes,
Yeah.
from Lufwindri.
Yeah,
No, they're
remote
Lufwindri.
village. Yeah.
They tell you, Timo, the way we've seen this lady, she's not good. But you have had first-hand experience. That's why I say, do not judge a person based on their first impression. Because yes, in as much as first impression says a lot about someone, you don't know. Maybe someone is having other things that makes them portray themselves as a different version from what they actually are. Are you getting my point?
I'm getting your point.
So, if at all you're here talking about consultancy,
yeah.
is your mother going to decide for you who will be your wife?
Okay.
Because that is the meaning of consulting. In Amanisha, it's not actually asking for blessing.
Okay, in
It's
this
asking
scenario-
for her opinion. What do you think about this one? Is she the right
But
one?
in this scenario, we are talking about consulting. When I say consulting,
What do
that
you
one-
mean?
That one should not mean that whatever opinion or whatever idea I'll be given there is the idea that is going to be put into effect. That is not what I meant.
But don't you think?
What I meant here is that I go consult the parents
Okay.
or the elders.
Why consult?
Because the elders they have a marriage experience. Because someone have been married close to 50 years. I think that was an experience with the gravity and now convince you to do whatever. Maybe to give an opinion, but I don't mean that the opinion should be final. That's what I'm trying to put it out.
You know, I'm very confused, Timothy. You're talking about the opinion not being final, but you're very much hell bent on seeking their consultancy, their advice, their expertise. Don't you think this is biased?
they
No,
they
no, no,
brought
no,
me
no.
from scratch.
Yes, they brought you from scratch, but you don't owe your whole life to them.
Of course
Right
I
now,
don't.
you're how old? You're millennial.
of course I
Karibu
don't.
kufika huko, si ndio?
I
You
know,
know,
I'm
you're,
still young.
hey, you're old.
But you know
But
this thing of
point is,
this thing of marriage, it should
Uh-huh.
not be something that you should
Do you know-
coerce because you might be coerced somewhere.
let me take you to the Bible. Do you know what the Bible says? The
tell me.
man will leave his family, right?
Yeah.
What does it talk about?
It talks about leaving the family that brought you up, going to start your very own.
Exactly.
Right.
And right now, you want to do consultancy. So hiyo inamaanisha kila time whenever you have your ups and downs and marital trifle, unarudi nyumbani kuambia mama yako, mom,
Let
my
me-
wife is angry at me because maybe I came home late. Can you talk to her, right?
Let me give you
How
a
will you
scenario
ever
here.
learn to solve the issues if at all you are solely hinged on that consultancy?
Let me give you a scenario here.
Mm-hmm.
Just maybe for this instance.
Yeah.
There was a video that was trending on social media. I think
Uh-huh.
some 2 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
This rich man,
Which one?
former Nairobi County Governor,
Mike Sonko.
Mike Sonko. Mike
Yeah.
Sonko, I think he had some scuffle
Mm-hmm.
with the man that had married with the son-in-law.
Yeah.
And I don't know what really happened because I saw him make a lot of noise.
No, I think what's actually
I really wanted to
transpired
follow
was
up before what
he
triggered
beat the
the
daughter.
aftermath.
The husband beat the daughter, and then the daughter was saying, I love him. So it was love.
So maybe you just put yourself in Mike Sonko's shoes and
Hey,
response.
okay. That is a tough place to be in. That is a tough
Yeah,
place to
you
be
can
in.
do it.
Okay, yes, I can do it. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, as I said, it is not the job of our parents to decide who we actually end up with.
Yeah.
There's something called free will, okay?
Oh, yeah, free will.
There's something called free will. And if at all we don't exercise that privilege of free will, we will be bound, we'll be caged. All your decisions will be like it's quite dependent on, is my choice the right one for my mom? Have you ever experienced you were telling me about consulting because they've had experience of, I don't know, 50 plus years, right?
Okay.
In
Yeah.
marriage, now
Yeah.
the elders. Now, if at all you closely look at this thing, we're two different generations, right?
Yeah.
Even the millennials, even us and our parents, we're two different generations. Now imagine you and the elders who are coming to give you that advice, that consultancy thing.
The boom and the Gen Z.
Exactly.
No.
Now imagine that age gap of it's how many years? Right now you're 24, right?
23 and a half.
Okay, let's say 24. You're an old man.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're 24. Let's say at the time you are around 28, you want to settle down and you're courting someone very seriously. Maybe you date for 2 years and then you decide to settle down fully at around 30. But this time that you're courting, you still ujaenda kwa wazazi, you getting sasa unaenda kwa wazazi that time ikikaribia now to introduce. But at that time, your parents tell you, Timothy, I really don't like her. I really don't like her.
But
What will you do? What will you do?
The question here is
Uh-huh.
who is married?
Exactly.
Who is married?
You're the one who's marrying, but mind
Who
you,
made the choice? Who chose the person who is to be married?
yes, you're choosing the person, but you've been holding on to this kind of belief that you need the approval. I don't actually, approval is good, but not in the aspect of your decisions are theirs because they made their choice, right?
Yeah.
They ended up with the people they wanted to. So by making, and I think this is what actually kills the marriages because we're different generations. So what worked then doesn't work now. Because sasa kama saizi, if at all you follow everything that maybe your grandparents did, utakuwa umeuma nje. Let's be sincere, utakuwa umeuma nje.
Yeah.
Na nani atateseka?
The person.
Ni wewe.
The person here that will be intelligent, intelligent beyond
Uh-huh.
beyond intelligence
Uh-huh.
should be the man.
Exactly.
Because in life you'll end up with this woman.
And
according to
okay,
the thought.
you've said about the man should be more intelligent,
Yeah.
but when you're going to seek this consultancy, not even
That also-
blessing. There's a
no,
difference
that
between
also not-
blessing and consulting. So when you're
But
seeking
they
this
go hand in hand.
consultancy,
But
no,
they go hand in hand.
they don't go hand in hand. Blessing ni
Sasa how do you
unabarikiwa, mnaambiwa, live together happily.
Yeah, anakuwekelea
You're
mkono,
blessed.
the elder anakuwekelea mkono, then he or she
Exactly.
tells you, go live happily. Yeah.
Exactly. Now is that consultancy. Consultancy is mnakaa chini, you discuss. This person does this.
You tell them, I
Ama
chose this
nimeona
one.
kwa sababu ya hii. And then you're told, hey, the better options in our village.
You tell them I chose this one. So
Now,
how do you-
your mother tells you, Timothy, there's this girl you grew up with over here in Lufuindri. You went to school together and she's showing very nice habits. Anakujanga kwa shamba, ananiletea hapa tumayai, I don't know what.
you know, us as Gen Zs,
Uh-huh.
any move that you make, like, especially if you don't marry,
Uh-huh.
your friends will tell you the truth.
Yeah.
If he's she's not, if she has not ticked all the boxes,
Uh-huh.
they'll tell you.
And do you really care about the opinion?
Because there are friends who are, we are
Yes, you're living with
friends
them.
nowadays. Friends.
Let me ask you a question. Now
These are
imagine
true
this.
friends.
Imagine this. Okay. Let's say you've met someone and now your friends tell you, si mrembo. Si mrembo.
I joined God and call myself for a very
Okay, now
very concise meeting
let's
so
talk
that
about
I
something
can
else.
inquire again.
Yes, you want to inquire. I've used one instance of a beauty. But what is the meaning of beauty?
Beauty.
Yes, what's the meaning of beauty?
Beauty according to me, or according to
Any. What is the meaning when you talk about someone is beautiful?
someone is beautiful.
Yes, someone is pretty. Ukisema dem ni peng, umemwangalia roho ikatamani. What comes to mind?
It can be the physical appearance,
Uh-huh.
but not definitely, yeah. I'm not talking about the physical appearance.
You're
The
talking
mind,
about what?
the beauty of the mind.
Now, when your friends tell you this person isn't pretty, do you think they've had that interaction with that lady?
Of course, they might be in
No.
one way or the other. Now, when someone tells you, "Bana, this hiki tu si kizuri," he or she might be having it in one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which experience? Are they really that close?
See, maybe maybe they have tried to seduce the girl. They just ended up, yeah.
Now, what would you do? Would you listen to your friends?
Sometimes you need to do it.
Why? You
Because-
said as a man you need to be intelligent, but yet in
But-
this whole discussion, Timothy's thoughts are solely hinged on the opinion of others. So how exactly is marriage supposed to work?
My good people, marriage is something that is lasts long, and it must last for long.
Personally, I'm not married.
The gens normally say, wakudumu watadumu, and something cha kudumu, it's lifetime.
Exactly, it's
Yeah,
lifetime.
It's better you take
But-
some very long time to make a decision
Exactly.
than rushing and messing up.
No. We're not talking about rushing. We're talking about who's making the decision. It is not you who's making the decision. It is your friends who are actually influencing your decisions. Are you getting the difference?
I'm getting the difference.
Yes. So are those decisions yours? Do you have a claim? Do you have ownership of those decisions?
Of course, I
Or
take
your
ownership of the
friends
decisions that have been made.
no.
Yeah.
You'll just say, okay, I did this because they had a point. They saw this and I think they have a point. That is how, whenever you make decisions, there's something that actually influences you. So, what's your influence? Is it something that is
Provided-
within or is it an external factor?
Provided it's not situational or circumstantial or whatsoever. That's the decision I take ownership.
Okay, when you talk about
In full capacity.
when you talk about situational and circumstantial, what do you exactly mean?
See, maybe
Give an instance.
like my good friends back in the village there. Unapata msichana hapo kidogo, you do some one two biology, you end up impregnating the girl. That one is circumstantial. You might be forced to marry her,
But at the end
or
of the
you might be
day,
forced to flee and look for another one because before your name is spoiled outside there. Yeah.
and why did you do that?
Sometimes these things are fair.
Why? Why?
Fate.
Here's
Fate is
the-
something you cannot change. Maybe it was meant to happen. that way.
let's not blame it on fate. Because in as much as we talk about fate, we talk about choices and consequences, right?
Okay.
We talk about being sane and having that power to make decisions, right? And with that knowledge, okay, I can do something. Naweza decide niende nikasome biology venye hao watu walifundri walifanya. And then things, I don't blame them, but here we're being honest, we're being real, right? Things do happen, but at the end of the day, you need to take ownership of your actions. This is about ownership. So when you talk about something being forced on you, no one forced you to go learn biology. No one forced you. So why did you go to learn biology? Yet when the consequences came, you're here dashing out with the tail between your legs saying ati sitaki kuharibiwa jina in my village. Ni wewe umejaribia jina. No one did.
Sometimes,
You do understand that, right?
Sometimes as teens, you grow up learning these things.
And then
And
you want to experiment.
At the end of the day, Satan
Okay.
pushes you to that path.
Now let me
And
talk
of course,
about
you don't
this.
plan going to that path.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're talking
not planned.
about it's no plan.
Yeah.
You were talking about seeking consultancy, right?
Consulting, yeah.
And seeking advice.
Yeah.
So why didn't you, before going to learn this biology thing, why didn't you go to actually seek advice?
Yeah, no, the question that you should, this is the question that you should be asking.
Uh-huh.
You've done the science and the circumstances are seen.
Yes,
The
yes, yes.
circumstances are
Mhm.
physical. Then what? When making a mistake should not be treated or be equated to another mistake.
So why
As
are
a
you
way,
running
maybe
away?
as
Why are
a
you running
no,
away? Unatoroka? Timothy, acha nikuulize swali.
no, also
Ushaitoroka?
no.
No, okay,
My
let's put it in a what if
my point is
situation.
okay.
So hold on. Check in a what if situation.
Eh,
Let's say you are in that situation whereby you did that biology thing.
okay.
Uli decide kenye mwalimu amekufunza haijatosha. Now
Yeah.
you have to get hands-on experience. Si ndio? Naona venye daktari hufunza kukuwa surgeon, anachinja hapa, anachinja kwingine. Aha. So tell me, how did you bisect it? If at all you were in such a situation, this is a what if scenario.
Okay.
If at all you were there, what would you do after? Now, what would be the aftermath of you learning biology? What would you do?
Of course, the happenings.
And be honest with yourself. Kama utatoroka, sema ningetoroka.
Of course, there are things that are happening outside here,
Sasa
and
ungetoroka.
the aftermath might
Uh-huh.
be
Uh-huh.
violent. So you have to, yeah, you have to be secure.
Sasa when you talk
I
about,
don't mean when you plan, you do that thing, then you flee. No, I'm not saying that. I'm
you're
not
saying
saying so.
what? You're saying
What I'm
what?
saying is
Uh-huh.
because parents are people who have grown up.
Yeah.
They have grown up maturely in a
Mhm.
way to handle such things. Because if you are maybe your son and my daughter have done it,
Mhm.
is it justifiable to go and maybe take them somewhere, then shoot them to death?
We're not talking about violence.
Because
Yeah, we're not talking about violence. We're talking
it
about,
has happened. So
yes, it
then
has
what
happened.
follows? What
It
follows?
has happened, but it's you
Two
were
mistakes
talking
cannot make right. You know that.
exactly, but we're talking about men being intelligent, right? I'm talking about everything that you've said, and this is where I want to
But
bring
that
you.
was a
No,
circumstantial
yes,
or
it is.
situational something.
Even here, we're talking about situational, right?
Yeah.
But we do not deny the fact that men are supposed to be intelligent,
Of
right?
course,
They're supposed to be
I
leaders,
don't.
natural born leaders, right? There's that energy that a man emits of being dominant, right?
Yeah.
You need to learn your space. So if at all you're not aware of yourself as a man, do you think that we'd be discussing about two rights, two wrongs making a right?
You
We're
know,
not talking about wrong plus wrong is equals to right. One minus one will never be one.
of course,
Okay?
of course.
But here we're talking about, yes, things have happened. And you as an individual, you're responsible for your actions. Si wazazi wako. So you can't come and tell me ati, me as a parent, am I going to take the kids to the river and then douche them? I won't blow their brains out. But at the end of the day, are they people who understand what they've done? So that brings us back to the topic of marriage.
Topic of discussion. Yeah.
Yes, you as an individual, when you decided to enter that space, were your decisions solely hinged on your parents, or is it something that you actually wanted? Or for you to even idealize the concept of marriage, what came to mind? Because, of course, haiwezi kuwa the pressure of your parents telling you, Timothy, saizi, enda,
No.
toka huku nje.
Guys, kumbuka this is Afripulse Media and the conversation is getting on hit. And you can also find us on our social media handles. Keep sending in your thoughts, keep sending in your opinions, and we'll be going through them as conversation continues. And we've said this conversation about marriage, infidelity, and mental illness. These are conversations that really deserve the time so that people can give their opinion, so that people can speak their mind, people
Uh-huh.
can give their thoughts.
So now we talk about what? Is it infidelity?
Infidelity. Infidelity comes in here right now.
Okay. Yeah. Let me ask you something,
You
Timothy.
can ask.
How does infidelity start? Or even rather, what is the meaning of infidelity? When we talk about infidelity, what do we mean?
When we talk about infidelity means not being faithful. The opposite of faithful, unfaithful.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, cheating and whatnot, as
Okay.
it's being termed nowadays by this generation.
Mhm.
And infidelity As reasons, it cannot just happen
Now let's talk about
out of
okay, let's talk about this so-called reasons of infidelity.
reasons of infidelity.
Yeah.
Number one, we can have this reason. The person you chose,
Uh-huh.
maybe he or she changes
Uh-huh. And I have a question.
behaviorally.
Okay, you're going to give me a reason, and out of that reason, we're going to argue it out one by one. So the first thing he says, it's maybe this person changes. I have a question. You remember before when we were talking about marriage, I was telling you about the idea of individuality, right? You being your own person, me being my own person, knowing that we're different people, but we can actually coexist, right? So when you bring up the aspect of this person has changed, what change do you actually really mean? Because in the first place, this person was changing. The way you were 5 years ago isn't the way you will be 10 years from now. Okay, we are ever evolving, and the sooner we understand that concept, I think it would be better instead of blaming these things on she changed, he changed. That is just a way of us finding something to blame the things on. So tell me, when you talk about changing, how do you defend yourself? To say me, no, let's take this. To say me, you are my husband.
Yeah.
And then after 10 years, I change. And then useme I've changed. And then I find out you cheated on me for a while. But unajua sitakasirika at first. Nitakuwa zile za I'm studying you
Because you still love him.
most exactly. I'm still waiting, studying pole pole, nisi jump into conclusions. Now, when I come to confront you, or when I bring up the questions of why, how do you defend yourself, or rather, what would you talk about in that particular situation?
Changes when someone change in marriage, there are reasons.
Okay, what
And
change are you talking about?
the kind of change I'm talking about is change that is in line with infidelity. Yeah.
Now, talk about that. Give an example, maybe for better understanding.
I can give an example.
Yeah.
For instance, this person A
Mhm.
gets a person A is a male, person B is a female.
Yeah.
They met
Mhm.
in this world of maybe circumstantial.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's not get into the circumstance.
Yeah.
Person A and B gets into marriage for close to 20 years. Then after a couple of time, one of them starts getting starts improving financially,
Mhm.
maybe in terms of job or maybe the dealings he or she is doing.
Yeah.
It gives a very good outcome in terms of finances.
Mhm.
And the person develops the kiburi in her or in him,
The ego.
the ego.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel kwamba, I chose this person, but I think I chose
We're
this
not
person.
aligned.
I chose this person, but
When I was still low.
but I think I made a very wrong decision.
Uh-huh.
When that person when goes back to the mind and think again,
Mhm.
I think I need to find a different person. Maybe someone who is of my class, someone who
Okay,
has
now I
money
have
like
a
myself.
question. That brings me back to the story of marriage, right?
But I
When
think
you reach that point, do you think it's better to practice infidelity or actually call it quits? You just end the story. You say, "Ma'am, okay, we've been here, but clearly I'm seeing this isn't working out." But before you reach that point, have you two even sat down to actually talk about things? Because I don't think that finances should be an issue of why you stay in marriage or why you leave marriage. Because you both are progressing, right?
yeah, we are progressing, and in
Exactly.
this circumstance here,
You're talking about finances.
infidelity. Okay, infidelity
Because
comes
you
in
feel
twos.
you feel like we're not in the same class, right?
Yeah,
So you want someone who is of a higher caliber, who earns maybe 6 figures, maybe I'm
especially
earning 5 figures.
especially female. When someone you get her,
Uh-huh.
umemtoa huko, umemuosha.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, umemtoa huko from very remote, those remote
Yeah, yeah,
areas.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those ones you can think of.
Uh-huh.
Umemuosha, umemuogesha.
Sasa niko na
Then
swali.
she comes here around the city.
Mm-hmm.
Anaona, I can sit here around my class just
Uh-huh.
because you've empowered her
Uh-huh.
financially.
And I have a question. Why did you empower her financially? Why?
I took it as a responsibility because I
It's
love her.
not your
I love her.
responsibility. Now you see, you can't say that the fault is with her. The fault began with you. Because at that point, you saw that, okay, we're from two different worlds, but I want to bring you, right? Because I like you, I love you. But at the end of the day, what were you working towards? Was it working towards to bring her to a class that she's not used to assimilate her? Or was it for your own pride?
It can occur that way in her mind. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Now for this person, and you know, hatuwezi sema ati ni ulimtoa uko in the remote areas. Sikata, it's actually very nice and it's very good of you kumtoa remote areas. I advocate, if you truly love someone unampenda na roho yako yote.
Yeah.
But don't you think there is also the aspect of character?
Aspect of character.
Yeah.
Depending on maybe on the place or the parents.
When I talk about character, it's who she is, past finances, past everything. Because if at all you're using your money to keep her, do you think she'll stay?
I think those are the questions that we need to be asking ourselves, and
So-
also our viewers. I know they are sending in their opinions and their thoughts.
So don't blame it on I don't know what to say. Oh, she's so with different classes, Nini.
You know, women changes a lot.
How about men?
Hii town.
How about men?
Kuna mchezo-
Don't
kuna
no.
mchezo inafanyika hapa
Usiseme
town.
mchezo wa
Kuna
taoni.
mchezo wa town.
Mm-mm.
And you need to
Usiseme
get
mchezo wa
you need to
taoni.
get to the bottom of this matter.
Now
Yeah.
tell me. Unajua, it looks like Timothy has a lot of pain. He's talking with a lot of pain. Nani ameku heartbreak? Tuambie, ama ulitumia pesa kwa nani akakuruka?
No, I've not
Ama
said
akafanya
so.
ile ya akatoroka. And then he was scarred emotionally, mentally, and everything. That's why you have this idea.
Let me use this instance. You know the previous concluded by election.
Tuseme by elections. You know, this is more personal. This is personal.
Okay, let me
This is
leave it alone.
personal.
What I'm trying to explain is, you know, someone can break your heart and whatever parts maybe you are using to love you.
But do we take that personally? We don't take it personally. Juu kama mimi. You
Sasa ukipenda mtu jamani.
Yes, unapenda mtu, lakini life doesn't end there, right? Life doesn't end there. You love a person and you love them entirely. You give the best portions of yourself. But when things feel like, okay, zimeisha, you decide to also love you. And when loving you means, okay, mimi najipenda. Personally, mimi nasemanga, Ashley, you know what? I love myself too much. And that is a fact. I do love myself.
But you know sometimes bana, unapenda mtu, you give her everything.
Lakini-
but she still afford to go outside.
Na wewe umejipenda.
Jamani, swali.
Don't talk about her. Do you love yourself? Because for you to love someone else, you need to start with you.
You know,
The gravity, the extent to which unajipenda, ndio unaweza penda mtu mwingine.
I was brought up by very religious parents.
Unapeana kila kitu wewe unajibaki.
the religious
Unabaki
parents-
zero, si ndio?
I'm not saying so.
Unabaki
but,
zero.
Let me explain this.
Kwa hivyo
first.
kama if at all you have 1,000 bob, umpe zote alafu uiname, si ndio?
No, let me explain this first.
Hey, Timothy. Now you see why you're suffering.
No,
You see why you're suffering. We were talking about intelligence in men, but is that really intelligence?
no, let me
That
explain.
is being
No.
Ash.
Please, let me explain this. You know, umependa mtu. And you know how our religious parents are treating us.
Yeah.
Those days we are going
How?
Those
Unajua,
days I used to be going for
wewe
Sunday schools.
generation yangu na yako na yangu ni totally different. Hey,
Okay.
I'm talking to a grandfather right now. So tell me, explain to us.
Please.
Age is a factor. So explain. Mimi hiyo miaka sikuwa nimezaliwa. I was
Let
still
me
very
say
young.
this.
I was children.
Let me say the following. You know,
Uh-huh.
I was brought up by religious parents. And you know, religious parents wanakufundisha, wanakwambia, when you see someone is doing what is not supposed to, when you see someone smoking, you need to go away. Because it is not religious to smoke, to do whatever things, to hang out around with the
Yeah,
ladies.
yeah.
Those things they used to be telling us those days. And wakati umefika, you have to get married.
Ndio maana unaitisha consultancy. Hey, don't you know how to rebel once in a while? Unaenda unaambia dem, sasa nimekuona church. Ukuje church next Sunday? Don't you know? Haujui hapo hadi ndio ulikuwa unaanzia foundation ya flirting, unatoroka kidogo unapatana na dem Sunday unamwambia.
No, but personally, I used to joke.
Unamwambia bye, ushinde poa. Alafu na ukitoka shule unamzindikisha home.
But you know, those are the things.
Ama utaki mzazi ajue.
Those are the things that I think I never did.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey.
Yeah.
Sure.
I never did.
Okay, now when you coming to sasa, naona shida iko wapi? Ndio maana unasema unataka kuconsult. Hey, jameni.
This thing, you have to consult. That's why I told you men take a lot of time to learn. Bana, there are so many ladies outside here. Utapigwa character tu moja.
Na umemalizika.
Moja. Wewe sasa kinyo utakuwa umebaki sasa ni kwenda tu sayuni. That will be the thing that will be waiting for you. Yeah, your soul is done. Imetoka
I tell you, at the end of the day, we are all human, okay?
Yeah, we are human beings.
We're human, and no one is perfect. No one is perfect. By accepting the fact that we all have our shortcomings, that I can make mistakes, that you can make mistakes, that knowledge alone makes you understand things can go either way. And sikatai, when you're loving someone, you love them with your whole being. But at the end of the way, hapo kwa body parts umeenda sana. Calm down. Usome biology kwanza. Calm down.
That is the love of couples.
No. Calm down.
I think I need to bring my mom to here so that she can respond to this question.
Sasa utamwambia nini? Kuna msichana alikuwa anakuuliza hizo maswali zote na una feel pressure kujibu.
Sikiza, she can respond to these questions.
Which questions?
Perfectly.
Which questions?
These questions about making choices, whom to choose, whom not to choose. Yeah.
And do
because
you think
marriage is something that you should not rush.
Yes, you shouldn't rush. But at the end of the day, I talked about being totally different generations.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, do you think, yes, they'll give you advice based on what was there during that time and what they were told, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what they were told and what they actually did, they're two totally different things. And what you'll do, it will be totally different. You remember the time this was a different conversation we were having with you a while back, where I was telling you someone else's journey is not your journey. Path ya mtu mwingine si yako.
And formula will never be the same.
Formula ni different. Hii si hesabu ati tuseme 1 + 1 is equals to 2. No, it will be different.
Yeah.
Someone will take a high route and end even higher. Someone will take something low and shoot up. Someone will take venye umesema atatoa dem kutoka uko village side and then they come up and then they just blossom together, right?
Yeah.
Kuna mwingine atatoa village side and then the guy la kuja town and then I decide, hey, huyu,
this is not my type.
This is not my type. I want better.
But that one happens in very minimal situations.
In as much as it's minimal, it's all a possibility. We're talking about possibilities. It's all a possibility.
What about possibilities?
They're very many. They're very many. And at times things don't work out how we want them to work out.
Okay.
So nikikwambia hapa ati ukiheartbreak usilie, sasa Timothy utalia mara ngapi? Ama utasema hautapenda mtu tena?
No.
Ama unangoja kuchaguliwa na mzazi? No. Mama Timothy.
No.
I think you need to take your son to church, Lufunri. Aombewe kiasi.
You know, this conversation requires a lot of
prayer and intervention.
Not even prayer. A very sober mindset.
Na
so
sasa
you can respond to this question.
You talked about men being intelligent. Sasa unasema you're not intelligent?
I'm not saying I'm not intelligent.
What I'm saying okay. Aren't you sober?
More than sober. Guys, you can confirm. More than sober.
Okay. Now you want your mom to choose for you. That is the bottom line.
No, I'm not saying.
Unataka kuchaguliwa.
I'm not saying
we have concluded that Timothy lacks the ability to make decisions for himself. But at the end of the day, atasaidiwa na villagers. Atasaidiwa na marafiki. He has a very good circle, a very strong one to help him make wise and sound and sane decisions, right?
Not really, not. I have not said so. What I'm trying to say is men are very important.
Okay, not when we talk. Okay,
there are so many men outside.
No.
Who marry a lot.
Okay, now let's talk about this intelligence that you're talking about. What do you mean by intelligence? When you say a man is intelligent, what do you mean?
When I say a man is intelligent, what I'm trying to mean is that men take a lot of time to learn. And taking a lot of time to learn is gaining more experience.
No. What is the meaning of intelligence? Let's
Intelligence.
start there. What is
Meaning
the
of
meaning of
intelligence, that is equivalent to wise.
wise?
Yeah.
Wise in which aspect?
Wise in terms of the mind.
Hmm.
Making
How
decisions.
about, okay, making decisions? What about emotional intelligence?
Emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
I think you're a lady can respond.
Ama yo mmeume nje. Okay,
Emotion is not my
just
thing.
say emotion is not your thing,
Yeah.
yet you're talking about men being intelligent.
But
So,
they're not
which is
emotional.
this intelligence that we're talking about? When we talk about intelligence, it's a whole package,
Yeah.
not about being sane in making decisions, but you as an individual, you're intelligent in everything. You come as a package. Umekuja fully packed. So tell me, when you say men don't do emotions, aren't you lacking as a man?
I'm not saying I'm lacking, but
No, personally, I'd say you have shortcomings as a man. You're lacking.
but okay, let me give my case.
Uh-huh.
For my case, when I'm hurt maybe by a woman,
Tumeshasema Timothy, we've already formed the basis that Timothy is already heartbroken and he doesn't want to try again.
no, guys, that's a disclaimer, guys.
He doesn't want
That
to
is a
try
disclaimer,
again.
guys. Tafadhali, it's a disclaimer.
Yes. So you were talking about men,
What was I even saying?
intelligence.
Okay, I was talking about intelligence. Men take some very long time to learn, and that is the intelligence. When you make a certain decision, because decision starts from the house where you stay, where you live, maybe family and friends.
Yeah.
That small decision you make there, maybe it might trigger someone's emotion. Maybe for my case, let me give my instance. When personally, when I'm a bit emotional, what I'll do, I'll show a very happy physical appearance, of which can confuse you.
When
You
I talk,
might not
I
know.
think you're not understanding me. When I talk about emotional intelligence, is do you know how to gauge other people's
Intelligence.
beings? No, like
course I can do that.
sahizi, tuseme sahizi. I'm no, not even me. Let's take an instance whereby you're dating someone, right?
Okay.
And the maybe she's totally different. We've already formed the basis whereby you're an individual, she's an individual, you're two different people, but you're actually trying to coexist with each other, compromising some of the things that are compromisable. And
Compromise.
yes, because in everything you need to compromise. Sasa kama wewe ukikuja na kiburi, unadhani mtawezana na mtu mwingine wa kiburi?
So,
Nimpunguze kidogo nyinyi wote ndio mjue venye mtaishi.
no, but I feel naona dawa ya moto unajua ni moto. So
Haya, sasa.
mnafaa wote mkikuwa juu.
Okay, sasa tuseme sahizi amekasirika
Eh.
akakwambia sitaki kukuona, alafu na wewe useme hadi sikuji. Now, how will you solve that? How will you solve that? How? Kwa sababu no, you exactly unasema nyinyi wote mnapanda juu, yanapanda juu, wewe unapanda juu. How would you solve that?
That's a very good question, guys. When before you
Nyinyi wote mnapanda, si ndio?
before you say
All of you,
together,
your highs.
before you on board the marriage board,
Uh-huh.
unachagua mtu vizuri pia wewe. Unachagua mtu unajua he or she can get high anytime
Uh-huh.
in terms of emotions.
Si ndio?
Mbona umchague?
Aya, na sasa wewe basi mbona
You are-
akuchague?
Bana, you are digging your own grave.
Okay, na yeye mbona akuchague? Have you considered that? Because even you have your highs.
Maybe personally,
Why should she choose you?
Before she choose me,
Uh-huh.
I'll have to consider what really made her. Because I think maybe anakuwa naona kijana anatengeneza TikTok.
Uh-huh.
Naona nikihang out na huyu,
Uh-huh.
I think I can end up very rich.
Uh-huh. So it's about but I don't think it's just one decision. I don't think it's just one aspect that they actually look at. They look at you as a whole. Nimekuuliza, we talked about men being a package in intelligence, not just decision making, not just being a dominant male, but you being aware of yourself. And awareness starts with even emotion. Do you understand? Papa, we're all humans.
Yeah,
Kwa hivyo
yeah.
ukisema ati you're a man, you're not allowed to feel. What are you telling me?
Nyinyi mnatuambia if a man is not allowed to cry. Have you ever seen a man crying?
Okay, yes, I have. Yes, I have. Lakini unajua pia ina depend unalilia wapi. Si ati mwende mkalia ati mnaenda huku nje alafu unalia. Me personally nitakucheka. I wouldn't even want to stand near you.
Si labda analia labda ni mapenzi, you know, like the one
okay.
Like Juliet and Romeo. Anamlilia bana. Maybe you have been spoiled. Amekuletea hapo surprise, ameleta Bentley as a surprise.
Nani asalia? Ni wewe utalia ama ni mimi?
Of course, unajua ni mwanaume analeta, hata you know it.
Sisi ni mimi nitalia.
Yeah.
Now here we're talking about men crying.
Mimi naye bana. Sasa mbona nilie?
Haya, sitas, you know, I've never seen you cry. I've never seen you cry.
I don't even remember the last time I cried.
You don't remember?
Ile physically unaona machozi ndo
haya. Number 11. Ni the time when you ulikuwa high school and then your teacher was turning you upside down and hitting you.
Maybe. I don't
That was the last time. But it's you know, it's a sign of being human. And I don't think right now we're stereotyping things as in gender, whereby men are expected to behave in a certain way and females are expected to behave in a certain way. But we don't consider the bottom line. We're all human.
Yeah,
you're allowed to feel. You're allowed to actually feel. So if at all you don't feel, how do you categorize yourself as a human? Because it's not just about crying. It's about everything. It's about releasing emotion. Okay?
Yeah.
Si lazima ulie, but are you even... When I talk about emotional intelligence, I'm not saying you show what you're feeling, but can you actually talk about it? Are you comfortable saying, kama saizi, maybe someone hurts you. Are you comfortable telling them, by the way, you've done this and it's not right by me. It's not right by me. Most men
confronting the person who...
Not confronting that person. Saying what makes you feel uncomfortable. Because if at all it's something that has the capability of making you cry, that means it's something of discomfort to you. So can you talk about what makes you feel uncomfortable in that situation? What can actually make you cry? Tuseme, dem amefanya kitu, no unasikia kulia, genuinely.
Of course.
Will you talk about it?
Of course, I love the woman. Maybe for this instance.
Timothy, no. Tunajua wewe ni unalia ni kwenda kulia heartbreak. Don't do that.
No,
don't do that.
Ndio nimwambie bana. Unajua kitu tumefanya, you done this thing. You know, unajua mahali tumetoana tafadhali.
Sasa utalia.
If I'm given some fair, hata sitaweza kurudi huko, but please change. This is for the interest of our growth. Maybe kama tuko courtship ama whatever, ama maybe ni marriage.
Hey, lakini you
please change. Yeah, change. Unajua watu kwa village wanajua. You are the only one. Nienda watu na nimepeleka mwingine jamani. Nitakuwa najichomea jamani. Niko na wazazi kule.
Are your decisions solely based on what others think of you? Because right now you're bringing... Hey, hapa unajua it's like you hell-bent on watasema nini, watafikiria nini, how am I going to explain myself nikipeleka mtu mwingine. Yes, you care
about their opinions.
But at the end of the day, I talked about loving yourself more than loving someone else, right? You know your limits. You know if at all this happens, if push comes to shove, I know where I place myself. I know my value, I know my worth, and I know that I as an individual need something. And if at all you're not meeting my needs, am I going to cry over spilled milk? Utalia maziwa kimwagika?
Of course you don't cry. You have to find out, you have to come up with a solution.
Exactly. And what solution? That's why umesema team ukipeleka someone different. If at all you've discussed it and umeona kabisa there's nothing that can be done in this situation, are you still going to cry over that spilled milk, going on begging? Nitaambia nini watu wa nyumbani?
Utaambia nini watu?
Na wametujua ni wewe pekee. You start life fresh.
They know it's Ashley. Sasa kesho wanaona tuna another purity jamani. What will be their thoughts on jamani?
At the end of the day, do you care about that? Because ndio hadi mkuje kuachana. And this brings us back to the issue of marriage. Right now, don't forget, we're talking about marriage, right? Guys. Yes. And it's a very dynamic, diverse topic. Yep. So when you talk about going back to the village, and then wanakuuliza mbona umeleta mtu mwingine? Venye ulipatana na wa kwanza.
They were not there.
They were not there. Lakini unajua, for your case, they were there. Because you did consultancy.
So they are aware of everything.
They were, your union wasn't yours and hers. It was the village's union. Ilikuwa committee.
they were there when we began the journey. Sasa si
Timothy,
we want to finalize the journey. So
ndio
they
maana
must be there.
nimekuuliza.
Before we wrap it up.
Ndio nimekuuliza. Hold on, nimekuuliza. Sasa mkikosana, utaambia mamako, hey, enyewe, the generation of men nowadays is failing.
No,
I am disappointed.
Why disappointed?
Hey, you're letting me down. The level I had placed you on a pedestal, Jamani. Jamani. Now how are we going to deal with you? And then you wonder why marriages right now are just something that is hard to even put into, something that is so hard to even put into mind.
Sasa unajua sisi ndio tuko.
Sasa juni.
You know Gen Z normally says wakudumu na
that is a very misused phrase.
No.
Ni kama mimi kusema if I perish I perish kwa sababu nimependa mtu niseme if I perish I perish.
No.
It's not the end of life.
Don't take it on that perspective.
Si lakini unasema wakudumu ni wakudumu.
Wakudumu of course wadumu.
Na sasa akienda utalia tu.
Akienda.
I
think
kijana wetu hapa ako na heartbreak mingi.
God forbid.
Kijana wetu ako na heartbreak mingi, but at the end of the day, we're trying to comfort him.
God forbid.
And let him see a different perspective of life and love. And maybe siku moja atapatana na penge. Kwanza nimeona mali.
Bana, God forbid. The worst. Actually, the worst should not happen.
Ona tu, wamekuja kukutafuta.
The worst should not happen.
Unaona venye wanakutafuta? Wamekuja. No. Kijana wetu amekuwa shy kidogo. Kuna watu wenye wanakuja and they're kind of distracting him.
A while ago you were,
in this
on infidelity. Let's get there. Infidelity.
Yeah.
No infidelity.
Yeah.
This is something that happens. Mm-hmm. Even those older generations.
Yeah.
People who have been married close to 40, 50 years.
Yeah. Not even that. There's this about infidelity. There's this I don't know whether to call it a belief, kind of like a belief. Venye watu huamini ati Wakikuyu wanapenda pesa, you know. Tell me one belief. No, wait. This politician who died. What was his name? The one with the 3 wives, and then the first wife was saying, he was very handsome. What was his name?
What is the name?
What was his name?
From Nyanza.
I don't remember his name, but ilikuwa nasema
the wife, the wife took the podium and said, the test.
He was a very handsome man.
He was a very handsome man. Now alikuwa na wanawake wengi. So
lakini sasa kwa sababu sitaki aende nje kwa hoteli in those funny places, nikaona nimlete nyumbani.
How do you respond?
Oh God. Hold me. I think I need some restraint because that is a very tough place to be in. Knowing very well the person that you're with, and if at all you heard her story very well, when she was reading the eulogy, she was saying, as he was the head boy, I was the head girl. So they knew each other in high school, right?
Yeah.
From high school to marriage to starting a family, and then things happen. So are we talking about this person changing? Or are we talking about this person actually showing the true colors?
These are people who brought each other from scratch.
Then what happened?
They deserve each other.
Then what happened? Sasa Timothy, tuseme saa hizi wewe umetoana na demo wako Lifwindri.
Yeah.
And then in between wewe ukadecide acha sasa nilete mwingine wa pili, wa tatu, kidogo wa nne.
Unajua, let me tell you one thing. Saa zingine hata mimi sitaki.
Ni nani anataka?
Wenyewe wanakuja sasa.
Kwani hawezi kata? Hawezi kata, nadi wanajileta. And we're talking about men being intelligent, right?
I'm saying when something is good, what do? You appreciate.
Oh, so you're appreciating by having a community of
not said this.
wives.
This is what I'm
saying. Nyumba kwanza
inakalika.
No, let me ask you a question. Hey, this is something I've been wondering. How do they share you? Kama say in that dynamic, wote wanaishi in the same house, how do they share him?
Abana.
Ni ngumu. Ama mnaanza kupanga timetable.
I think
wewe unachukua leo usiku.
I don't have an experience. Since I don't have an experience, guys.
Unachukua leo usiku.
I think I'm in capacity to respond.
Okay, let's picture this. Tuseme you are in that situation. what would you do? Tuseme uko na bibi watatu. Unajua saa hizi, Timothy usiniambie umekatia dem moja pekee. Haujaikatia madem wawili at the same time.
Madem?
Wao
ndio nikatia.
Kwa hivyo sasa unaniambia venye ulikuwa unasema mbeleni ati ni wao wanajileta.
Yeah, sometimes bana. What do you do? Kitu ni kizuri. What do you do?
Don't you have the spirit to say no? Useme nimetosheka na wangu mmoja. Kwa nini unachukua wa pili? Ama ni unaona unawezana? Hey.
You're overriding my take.
Okay, tell me. Let me calm down. Acha nisikize. Let me listen.
Please, you have to calm down.
Okay.
Okay, in this scenario,
you
have your wife at home.
Yeah.
Uko job. Unaona mtu ana if a lady wants you, he'll do whatever it takes.
Na sasa wewe haukumbuki yule mwenye umeacha nyumbani? Haukumbuki mwenye umeacha nyumbani?
I think yule nimeacha nyumbani, what she should be doing, I think is praying for the husband so hard.
Na sasa ikikuombea lakini wewe kichwa yako iko blood by the idea of wanajileta. And then you come baby come.
No.
Open arms. Come baby come, right?
You're making assumptions.
No, but you're not saying no. You're actually you're accepting it. And it is something that you want. Kwa sababu kama haungekuwa ukitaka, haungekuwa hadi ukifikiria.
Sometimes.
Sometimes what?
Sometimes.
But Timothy, he's trying to convince us otherwise, but we know.
Men, I hope you are listening to what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Men, a man and a woman, the woman who is married to the man, should be praying very hard for this man to stick to the marriage.
Timothy, tusisahau saa hizi umeangalia madem kama watatu and you are oogling. You're like, hey. Oh God, it's just that I'm doing a podcast right now. Otherwise, ningekuwa nimekaguna njia niende nikaitisha number, right?
No,
I saw you. I am here with you. I see you.
Kuna msemo unasema, unasema gaje?
Wahenga na wahenguzi.
Watana na wahenga. Whatever muue alafu na haki umpe.
Sasa hiyo sijui. I'm not a Swahili person. I don't know all those things. So maybe you enlighten me.
Yeah, I've gotten it. Mgala muue na haki yake umpe.
Okay, now what's the meaning of that?
Give credit where credit deserves.
Okay, now by giving credit, does it mean actually having illicit affairs? Because infidelity is illicit affairs. No, we're going, I'm listening to you, and then through your opinions.
You're using a very corrosive term. Illicit.
Okay, what is infidelity? What is infidelity? It is illicit relations, right?
I think you need to.
I need to do what?
You can leave out the word. That word illicit. No,
Timothy he's getting hurt. Kwa sababu maybe deep down anajijua.
No, I'm not.
Sijali, don't take it personally. We're just talking about life.
Men. That wife that you've married. You are married.
She's not enough. Hatoshi.
Let me give this instance.
Jibu kwanza swali. Anatosha hatoshi?
Of course anatosha, because kama hatoshi mbona why did I?
Haya. Kama anatosha, basi mbona mwingine akijileta? Kwa nini unafungua mikono? Kwa nini unamkumbatia? Alafu wewe unaimba kama charisma. Nikukumbate, si ndio?
Let me give you this scenario. This scenario.
Tell me.
Niko job pale.
Na umeona dem.
Ngoja tulie. Story ni yangu. Nimeenda nimepark my German machine Bentley, nimepark pale Bentley. For the first day. Nakuja job nakuja job yangu inafika 5 I go back home. The following day, that woman that saw me the other day nasukuma hiyo machine the Bentley, kesho anakuja dress different. Yesterday she dressed in a manner that is formal. This time round mambo is changing. Someone who is seductive. So how do you operate in that situation? You're a woman, you are a female.
Men are visual creatures. Lakini hapo unasema bibi yako.
All men are that way.
Calm down. Umesema bibi yako nyumbani akuombe, si ndio? Yeah. Lakini wewe mwenyewe, are you praying for yourself? Because yes, everyone, yes, so let's not blame it on demons or whatnot. Sikatai, kuna soko and the mini fish. Na vitu vizuri, okay? Vitu vizuri.
Okay, I'm listening.
Vitu vizuri, there's plenty out there. But at the end of the day, do you have restraint? Do you have self-control? Because we're talking about men, but there's more to a man than being gender of male. Are you getting me?
Okay.
Like there's more to being a man than actually the biological aspect of how God created you.
Sasa unajua men tu walizaliwa hivyo. Men hata nyinyi mnajua.
So where is the self-control? Where is the self-control? Tell me.
Leave alone the self-control. There are things that are beyond self-control. Where you know that?
How? Tell me how.
Some people amekuja nini?
You know that is like
those funny.
Unajua hiyo ni kama kusema me as a lady, me as a female, just because I see someone fine that I can't even decide to act on my impulses. You know, even women themselves, they have impulses, but we choose to have restraint. So where is your restraint as a man? Where is it? Jusiseme hapa ati the demons. Asha, no, don't go there.
Kuna manini huko nje, kuna mashetani huko nje. There are walking demons outside here.
Don't go there. It's not about demons. It's about you as a man. Okay? It comes down to you as a man. Do you have self-control? Do you have restraint? Can you actually do something based on the decisions that you know? Okay, Nikki, if at all I cheat on my wife, there's a consequences. Itaharibu ndoa yetu. Have you ever thought about that from that angle? Actually, like honestly speaking, have you ever thought about it from that angle?
When you
Because if at all you think about all these things, okay, ninaweza fanya hii. Saizi anaweza kuwa hajui. But let me tell you something. Women are very intuitive creatures. Women are intuitive.
And seductive.
But we're not talking about the seductive aspect. We're talking about imagine that dynamic. If this lady finds out, what will you say? Will you say I was nishetani? Are you going to blame your actions on the devil? And this is where you remember us talking about kupeleka watoto kwa the river and then shooting them. I ask you a simple question. Are we people who can actually take ownership of our actions?
Personally, I can take ownership.
Now, how would you take them?
But I don't advocate people going into that sort of way.
Okay, yes. You take responsibility for your actions. But how do you take responsibility for your actions? Would you tell him, maybe the reason why you've fallen out is maybe hakupei venye unataka kupewa. Maybe anakupea once in a week na unataka kila siku. Because it is yours, right?
Unajua yosi.
Maybe that's the reason why you're falling out with her. Let's be realistic, right?
Yeah.
No corner. Okay, there's this other woman here, and she can give me everything that I require as of now, right? So if that dynamic reaches, and this lady finds out, and then you blame it on the devil, how would you take up your actions? How do you be responsible? Utaenda uambie that lady, I did this because unaninyima. Or
of course, unajua men are intelligent. You don't expose your bedroom secret outside there.
No, like bibi yako amekupata. She knows. So now it's a discussion between it's or you work it out.
Actually, please don't misquote me. I'm advocating for cheating. Tafadhali.
But here we're talking about all possibilities.
Okay.
To finish up.
Okay, as we finish up, guys, the conversation, I think, opinions which have been researched to the core.
Here we're talking about you as an individual, Timothy. What would you do? Tuseme umecheat sahi, ungemwambia nini? You're taking ownership for your actions. So what would you do? And you very know this woman has the ability to leave you. What would you do? And remember, hautaki watu wa nyumbani waseme ati uliharibu ndoa yako, uliachana na bibi yako. So what would you do?
Guys, God forbid. And go and
anyway, I think
we love to reconcile.
I think this topic is a very broad topic.
We love to reconcile, guys.
And this topic is we'll continue more later with the different variations, different topics, different things. So keep it on Afripulse Media. And this is our podcast today with more later. The topic was on marriage, infidelity, and many other things. So yeah, have a blessed day. Anything else, Timothy?
Kumbuka, this is the Grey Line Show. comes only on Afripulse Media. Kumbuka, this is MC Fat, the last one boy from the house of Achaman with a baby face, aka Talking Master.
And I was Ashley Kongo. And this was, yeah, as he said, this is Grey Lines, where Mike means Mike, sorry, where Mike meets mind and mess.
Yeah, Mike meets mind and mess. Guys, let's meet same time, same place.
Bye.
Goodbye.